What's up guys, it's Mike from Make Makers. Today I want to show you how to build your own entertainment center custom around your own equipment. Don't buy it at the store, you can make it yourself, it's really easy. First thing we're going to do is take a couple measurements. Alright, 22 by 9.5 by 12, 20 by 14 by 6. I'm going to add an inch probably to all those numbers to make sure everything fits and I have enough ventilation to keep the equipment cool. Alright, let's get the SketchUp, let's plot it out and get our cut list.
Alright makers, hey, thanks for watching. You can take those dimensions that you took of your equipment, you can put it into SketchUp. SketchUp is free and easy to use. This is not a SketchUp tutorial. If you want to watch one of those, you can find it on YouTube. That's how I learned. The trickiest part for me was probably the feet. I needed to come up with something that worked and yet still stayed true to like the vintage 70s style. I'll go ahead and put those angles that I just had up on the screen into the description. You can tell here that I'm just using some scrap wood I have in the garage. I think this is 3/4 inch maple veneered. I knew it was strong, it looks good enough. It's scrap, so I didn't really want to spend any money on this project. I wanted to see if I could just do it from things I had in the garage. It's kind of like my own personal challenge to myself, and it turned out really nice. Alright, in order to fit my entertainment center into the corner, what I wanted to do was do a 45-degree cuts at the back end, so I could kind of like back the entertainment center into the corner and it would look nice. Okay makers, I don't normally do voiceovers in my videos, but I thought I'd give it a shot. I'm going to just try to point out a couple tips for beginners. I think in that last cut you saw that I was using a masking tape. You can use painter's tape, I just didn't have any at the time. That's typically what I use. You can do that on the edge of nice plywood so that you get a little bit better cut. Another great thing to do is use stop blocks. So you'll see that in most of my videos. I use stop blocks to make sure that I have a consistent, length to cuts, especially if I'm doing something like furniture. Another tip I just want to mention is that, when you have something that's fairly wide and you need to cut and you use a stop block, it's actually pretty nice that you can just flip the boards over and make the cut that way. I think I mentioned earlier those 45-degree cuts at the back of the entertainment center. So those would be the side walls there that I'll use for that piece. All of your table saws should do 45-degree angles, so that shouldn't be too hard. One of the fortunate things for me is I'm always working with various woods, so I had some walnut lying around that I could use for the feet, but of course I did this on a scrap piece of pine first while I tried to figure out the angles and everything. But I mostly had that figured out from my SketchUp design, so it just took me a little bit to play around with what cuts I should do first in order to not cut my hand off and stuff. I do use a guard on my bandsaw. You can't really see it, it's a little bit raised, but just wanted to show you how you can use different equipment to do different kind of cuts there. I have a new oscillating sander. I'm actually really happy with this. I don't know if anybody's used this one before, but I really do like it. Here I'm making, basically the base that everything's going to sit on. I initially was worried about, angled feed. I hadn't really done that before, but actually I've had the entertainment center up for a bit and it has no problems at all. It can support this and plus me, the entertainment center and me standing on it, so it's plenty strong enough. For those that don't have a Kreg jig, I do recommend that for little projects like this. It does make really quick work for putting boards together. And believe it or not, this is actually my first time using edge banding. I typically, prefer the look of, trim boards being out, or on the face. But for this project, I didn't think that would look right, and plus I needed to be able to slide things in from the front. So I did make an attempt at edge banding. It wasn't hard at all, actually. Basically you heat up the iron, you just put it on there, and it doesn't even have to be that accurate because you're going to be using a razor blade to kind of cut off the extra bits. One thing, maybe you guys can put something in the comments, but if you have a better way of cutting off the extra wood, here I'm using this edge trimmer, but I found it actually to be a little bit tough to use. It kind of gouged in small places. Maybe it was user error, but I don't think there's too many ways to mess up here. If you guys have a better technique, I would love to know it, because I do like this edge banding. It looks like it took the stain well. I liked working with it. It was fast and easy. I want to do more projects with it, but I would like to improve on the quality if I can just figure out a way to not, gouge the wood a little bit with the razor blades. Anyway, here I'm starting to do the assembly. For the outer pieces, I'll be using the Kreg jig. You can see the holes there at the bottom and the top. This will all be hidden by the speakers, but this is a good way to secure the pieces here, especially in spots where nobody's going to see it. In a bit, I'm going to show you that I used a nail gun for this outer edge. I know this is a hidden piece of the project too, but it was just a nice way to secure the wood together while the glue dries. I used the nail gun again, actually, for the center pieces. I wanted, since the center pieces that are going to be around the around the receiver rather, I didn't want to see the Kreg holes, and I didn't feel like I needed to have a ton of strength there, since I do have angled ends to give me the strength I need. So I'm actually just doing top and bottom, nails, and it seems to hold it, just fine, especially when the glue dries. If I had wanted to use a Kreg jig for these, there are ways to hide the holes really well. Looking back at this, I probably could have just done the Kreg jig holes on the reverse side, so on the speaker side. That's probably what I should have done, but using the nail gun worked fine. So that's the problem with coming up with this stuff. Sometimes, on the fly, the best ideas are not always the first ideas, but hey, this is woodworking, this is fun, and this is why we challenge ourselves to figure this stuff out and get better, right? The desk in my office is, I believe it's Minwax Golden Oak stain, so I wanted to match that. So that's why I'm using this stain color. It's nice, it showed up really well. And then I'm just going to wrap up the project with a couple coats of wipe-on poly. I think I did about 3 of those, and that's about it. A couple things that I didn't show in this video was the center shelf. I apologize for that. It looks like I lost the footage for that. I also whipped together a back panel using some 1/4" plywood paneling. I stained that with the golden oak as well. That goes behind the receiver. I can pop that in or out as I need to get back there. I'm very excited that the receiver fit. These old systems just like sound amazing. I think as I get older, I'm becoming more of a audio nerd or audiophile, but it's a lot of fun. I have this eventually, hooked up into the 4K TV that it's, basically the sound for movies and music while I'm working. I was super happy with this project. Plus, it was all, pretty much free, which was always a plus. Well, there it is, guys. I hope you liked the video. Hope this inspires you to, make your own furniture. All right, I'll see you in the next one.